I don't like Trump personally, but it's kind of funny how he's most likely unknowingly dismantling the U.S. state and its influence. Yeah. Yeah. No, he is. He is destroying the American empire piece by piece. Okay. Anyway, I do want to watch this. There's a message for Elon Musk.
Government jobs have been. Government jobs.
By the way, that's why, due to the multiple centuries long dominance of the Ottoman Empire, a lot of Christians still carry some resentment. I would say that it's more understandable resentment if you're a Balkan state, or if you're like Romanian or some shit, like that makes sense. But it certainly doesn't make sense if you're fucking German, okay? Like, I get the resentment that like Armenians or Greeks or any number of like Eastern Europeans have towards the Ottoman Empire, but it's fucking ridiculous when you got like British people still holding some semblance of resentment against the goddamn Ottoman Empire. Like, oh, the sick man of Europe. Like, what the fuck, you bitch? We almost got there, but we stopped at the gates of Vienna because of the goddamn Polish, you know? Should have let us get there. Should have let us get there and beyond, okay? Think about how crazy. Think about how crazy that shit would look. I'm just saying. Wasn't the historical Dracula one of those Ottoman slaves or his brother? They were both. I don't know. Would they be considered slaves? I don't think so. I think they were given, like, it's the I mean, they were vassals. Vassal is the right term. They were hostages. Vassals. They weren't slaves. It's more so a political exchange that it's like a political exchange program, basically, to say, like, don't with us because we have your children. We have your next of kin. And also, yes, you're right. Vlad Dracul Tepes was the bad brother, and the other brother was the good brother. Fake ass bitch. Learned impaling from the Ottomans too, and then used it against every Muslim he could find. And then, yeah, Vlad was a fake friend to Mehmed the Conqueror. I will never forgive and I will never forget. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And then he got beheaded later on because he was a loser. His brother was better. I will never forgive the Ottomans for fumbling the bag so hard, dude. You're literally from Iraq. You have no say in this process. Your ancestors unironically played a role in the fumbling. What the are you saying? Imagine being an Iraqi and saying, I will never forgive the Ottomans for fumbling the bag so hard. Yeah, what were you guys doing? What were your grandparents doing? Okay, yeah, that's right. Collaborating with the fucking British Empire. That's what. I am Kurd. Oh, it doesn't matter. You're Kurd from Iraq. What were your grandparents doing? That's right. They made movies about it. Listen, if you're from the MENA region, okay, you can't be like, oh, the Ottomans, they fumbled the bag. You played a role in that, okay? You played a role in that. That's you. You did that, okay? Congratulations. What about Palestinians? It's the same shit. It's across the board. There are a lot of Palestinians who are still on board with the caliphate, and then there were some Palestinians who were collaborating. It is what it is, you know. We all make mistakes, guys. It's fine. I don't, you know, let bygones be bygones. I don't carry this resentment. He was larping as a Days Vault Crusader 2. He derived his surname, which he came up with from the disgrace and disbanded Order of the Dragon. His daddy was a part of. Okay, stop.
Jobs have been under the microscope lately, with the Trump administration promising sharp cuts to the federal workforce. But many of us have little idea what some federal workers actually do. Hence, this report from our Robert Costa.
Yeah, if you want to know what it's like, 500 years of Ottoman peace in Jerusalem and then 30 years under the British. Fuckers ruined that shit literally overnight, dude. God damn the British. Holy shit. You sound like a British Empire defender when discussing the Ottomans' role in the Arab world. I mean, all I'm saying is, do you think the British were better? Yeah, I'm comparing the Ottoman Empire to the British Empire. Look at what they did. We're living in it. What do you mean? Like, yeah. No, it certainly seems better to give all of that to the French and the British so they could figure that stuff out. Seems very good. Seems like they did a really good job. Victim blaming is crazy. I mean, I'm memeing for the most part. Neo-Arab nationalism will rise to defeat Neo-Ottomanism. Just you wait, Pasha. Yeah, I'm a lesser evil voter, okay? And as a lesser evil voter, all I'm stating is, as a lesser evil voter, there was clearly a lot more stability before the Angloid dogs came back into the equation. Put some Angloids in the region, historically never good, okay? The Crusades. Put some Euro cucks in there, all of a sudden shit blows up. You think complete subjugation to the Ottoman Empire is better than self-determination? Wait, what? No, of course self-determination is significantly better. What are you talking about? I'm joking. Iraklı izleyici burada seni bekliyoruz Hasan Pikar. Basra vilayetinin sultanı olman için 1453 best year ever. To be fair, the Arabs were supporting Lawrence, who was a weeb for Arab culture and was quirked up white boy who shocked them with Arabic. Yeah, that's why there's nothing more dangerous. There's nothing more dangerous than a fucking quirked up white boy who can speak the language, okay? They are a threat, always. Everyone's fascinated by them. First they go, oh, look at white monkey go. Look at white monkey go. And then before you know it, they're like, oh my God, how did this happen? How the f did this happen? We are so cooked.
Evening, the coal mining country of...
My Palestinian dad thinks the Ottoman Empire is the reason why the Levantine Phoenicians got fucked and everything bad that is now happening because of the Ottoman Empire. Classic Levantine Arab diaspora. That's hilarious.
Morning, the deaths of 15 miners in a methane gas explosion 3 days ago.
Rescuers tonight struggle to reach miners trapped by smoke and flames near Orangeville, Utah.
Coal mining has always been dangerous, one of the deadliest professions in the nation.
119 coal miners were killed in a mine explosion. The new monument dedicated to the men who died from that tragedy.
In the 20th century, more than 100,000 workers died in the U.S. mining industry. Christopher Mark experienced that risk firsthand.
I started the mines in 1976, it was almost 50 years ago, and I worked underground altogether for about 2 years. And I can tell you, I was almost killed a couple times.
So this is real for you, mine safety?
Absolutely.
Mine safety has been Mark's life's work. In his 20s, he left the coal fields to earn a
I think we should fire this guy.
PhD, then return.
Man, seems like he has an important role to serve in the federal government. Let's see where this goes.
As an engineer for the federal government. His efforts have helped save countless lives underground.
It was still maybe a coal miner every week that was being killed in a rockfall. In 2016, we had our first year with zero, a really tremendous accomplishment.
At the end of the day, you work essentially for the worker, not for the corporations.
That's exactly right. And we were asked to do this by the public. It was the public's demand that was reflected in the laws that were passed by Congress. And that's all we've been doing ever since.
So for you, this isn't just about a government budget. This is life and death.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, that's an issue that's...
We met Christopher Mark in the historic coal country of western Pennsylvania. He agreed to speak with us as a private citizen, not as a representative of his employer, the Department of Labor. His reason? He is deeply concerned about the Trump administration's sweeping criticism of federal workers.
I still have the most precious American right, which is the right to free speech, so long as I'm speaking in my own personal capacity. So that's what I'm doing today.
So you're not afraid?
I'd be foolish if I wasn't afraid.
I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish.
Since taking office, President Trump has enlisted billionaire industrialist Elon Musk as a special government employee, and they have launched a crusade to winnow the ranks of federal workers, encouraging more than 2 million of them to consider quitting and moving to shutter entire agencies. Meanwhile, there are reports that hundreds of thousands of recently hired federal employees could soon be terminated.
You couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted
for not you, but okay.
To have a majority of the public voting for President Trump.
Elon Musk has got to go! Hey, hey.
Trump and Musk's campaign has sparked anger.
We are out here trying, but we need every American to care because this will impact every American.
It has also forced a reckoning over what Americans want from their government.
I think as we speak, our country is getting an education of what its government does because it feels it has to. Who knew what USAID was 3 weeks ago?
In an upcoming book, best-selling author Michael Lewis poses the question, who is government?
Virtually every existential risk we face, we don't turn to the private sector to respond to it. We turn to the government. I mean, the federal government's mission is to keep us safe. And you don't really know that that insurance policy is not there until it isn't.
The book is based on a Washington Post series Lewis edited last year, with little-known stories of federal workers.
Just look at Christopher Mark's life work. If we just removed Christopher Mark from the history of the federal government, thousands of coal miners are dead. It's one person.
Profiling military cemetery managers and mission specialists for space exploration, Lewis and his co-authors make the case that claims of an impersonal, so-called...
I don't like Trump personally, but it's kind of funny how he's most likely unknowingly dismantling the U.S. state and its influence. Yeah. No, he is destroying the American empire piece by piece, okay? He's doing it. He's accelerating the demise of the American empire. It's not even wishful thinking. Like it is literally what's happening. I just think that it's not going to stop the pain on the global south. That's it. I don't think undermining all of these very important functions of the federal government and the regulatory bodies is actually going to stop America from successfully destroying the global south. Like, I joke about JD Pondon or whatever, but like, notice how he hasn't really touched the DOD. Like, sure, he put a weird Christian nationalist psychopath in charge of it, and I'm sure that will lead to some complications down the line. But I think you underestimate the resilience of the empire. He's just screwing Americans. No, that's what I'm saying. No, that is my point. Like, I joke when I say JD Pondon, he's destroying the State Department apparatus for like destabilizing foreign nations or whatever. But the reality of the matter is there is obviously great utility, great use for those tools. So he's not going to actually cast it aside in its entirety. He's just going to, I think, change the trajectory of American empire and make it more violent, most likely.
Deep state are off base, and that while there may be places for trims and updated systems, they argue the federal workforce is largely individuals dedicated to the public good.
Is this an intentional crippling of American empire for a specific purpose, or is this really, truly just pure stupidity on Donnie's part? I think it's not pure stupidity on Donald's part. I don't think it's Donald Trump doing this alone. I think it's pure stupidity of the entire capitalist apparatus that is salivating at the prospect of undermining the federal government, because this is the libertarian dream. I think it's stupid in the sense that it's short-sighted, because it will lead to tremendous profits for the private sector in the short term, because someone has to do these jobs. Who's going to do these jobs? Oh, that's right, private enterprise. And obviously, when the private-public partnership turns basically all of these other government operations into a money sink, when private capital gets to paywall incredibly important things like the National Weather Service, for example, what are you going to do? Not know the weather? How are you going to do? Like, you need it for everything. You need, like, the National Weather Service is a great example of this, okay? This is something that psychopathic Rothbardian libertarians and just libertarians alike have fantasized about, okay? When they're not thinking about, like, the marketplace of babies. They've wanted to do this for a long time. And why do they want to do this? Because it is a profoundly important thing that needs to exist, a service that needs to exist. It literally works with GPS, okay? It is incredibly important for commerce. You need to know what the fuck the weather is, okay? You need to know the weather patterns. So while he's talking about DEI or the fakeness of climate change or whatever, and that's the reason why they're going to dismantle the National Weather Service, the real goal there is to basically make that a private enterprise. When it becomes a private enterprise, that you can basically paywall this service and charge it, like charge whatever price you want for it, for all of the other companies, for everyone that needs it. Whoever takes on the National Weather Service that once it's inevitably privatized will be able to make tremendous profits off of it. Okay? Yeah, their goal is basically to privatize everything. Yes, we are doing to ourselves what we have done to the global south in perpetuity. We are applying shock doctrine to America. Okay? And we're doing it for incredibly nearsighted, incredible focus on short-term profits.
It's people who have been attracted to a problem. The government is there to solve lots of problems, usually problems that the market doesn't want to solve.
Some people say government should run like a business. Are they right?
No, they're wrong. I don't see how you would run the government as a business, because the kind of problems the government is addressing, they're addressing it because you can't make money addressing it.
The modern federal government took shape almost a century ago in response to the Great Depression. FDR's New Deal, followed by World War II, expanded government's reach into most every aspect of life. And since then, many conservatives have been pushing back.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and
the devil. Shaitan. Shaitan, the devil. Okay? Look at this devil, man. This fucking demon, dude. Oh my God.
and I'm here to help.
In the 1980s, President Ronald Reagan helped lay the foundation for what Trump and Musk are doing today.
There is an ethos in Silicon Valley. Move fast, break things, disrupt. You've covered leaders in that sector for decades. Does that approach, though, work when it comes to the federal government and the stakes are different?
It doesn't work very well. If you take the kind of Elon Musk approach to the federal government, walking in, as he did at Twitter, and say, all you people are useless, we're going to get rid of half of you, operating with kind of fear and chaos, I don't think any big institution is going to respond well to the move fast and break things approach.
When asked for comment, a White House spokesman said the president is confident in Musk and his ability to shake things up, and said criticism of his method is fear-mongering.
Trump people don't necessarily say, there's a federal worker.
That's right.
They say, that's a coal miner, that's my friend, that's someone who works on mine safety. But they're not thinking about you necessarily as part of the federal government.
That's right.
That doesn't help the federal government.
Another thing is that the federal government doesn't have money to advertise itself.
That's right.
You know, people can say whatever they want about us, and we, really can't respond.
For mine safety engineer Christopher Mark, there is little he can do to stave off the wave of changes from Washington. But he says he'll carry on, his head up, as long as he can.
If you could bring Elon Musk down to the mines, what would you say to him?
Well, I would say, there's a lot of people that have to work in these mines, and they deserve to be able to come home at the end of the shift to their family safely. And we're a part of making that happen. You can't take us out of the equation and be sure that they're going to return home safely to their families.
Oh, mine safety engineers are an unnecessary redundancy. Yes. We're about to be working Victorian child conditions. I mean, you have